welcome back to the podcast.
Snow melts, but the pain never does. Why'd you have to melt away?
For anyone who has no idea what Christy's talking about, that is one of the iconic lines from my very first vertical short, A Trade of Hearts.
We talked about it last time on the pod. That wasn't even last week because I don't know when we recorded.
No,
But guys, since then I'm literally like, if Trade of Hearts has no fans, I'm dead.
it's Christy's favorite show.
No, like Desperate Housewives podcast canceled. I want to do a Trade of Hearts podcast
And you
where
just interview all of the cast.
I interview the whole cast and I analyze every episode, like every 1 minute episode.
That's going to be a thing soon. Watch.
No, oh my god, I shouldn't give out my secrets. Oh my god, I just got another short max notification.
Girl, turn them off.
They're just funny. This says, wife or imposter. The nanny's daughter pretends to be the president's wife and wants to take his place. Wait, I need to watch that.
That one sounds like it could be like right up your alley.
I think that is for sure. What else is on here? They're just like really long, some of them. She humbly loved him for 3 years. An accident made her fully awake. Domineering divorce tore up the scum man and cheap woman. The president, ...
Crazy how the captions are longer than the actual episodes.
A rich girl gave up everything to marry a poor boy, but he cheated on her on their wedding anniversary. She was furious and just randomly married a man, but she did. ... Like, look at these.
Oh no. No.
I love vertical short dramas.
Didn't know what they were 2 months ago.
2 weeks ago, even.
Really?
The boy and girl were forced to separate when they escaped from the kidnappers, and the girl became a mute. Many years later, the girl met the boy by chance.
Oh wait, she just randomly became a mute.
Yes.
Is that like politically correct? Like she became a mute?
Who cares? 6 years ago, she had sex with a gangster. She didn't want to be regarded as a gold digger by him, so she resolutely left, but didn't expect that she was
These are fascinating.
I know. That's why I keep these notifications, because they're so stupid.
Well, we have a lot to discuss.
Yeah, we do. So, okay, before we get into our moments of desperation, should we announce our new project?
I think it's time.
And tell the listeners to watch part 1.
I'm scared, but I think it's time.
I think it's fine. So, if you guys were on the Discord, which most of you are not, because I've seen our listener numbers actually take a huge jump within the last few weeks. None of you are in the Discord. There's only like 20 people. Love those 20 people, but you're missing out on a lot. Anyway. So in the Discord, I put the link to Trade of Hearts. And then one of our incredible listeners, Trevor, found it, like, from one thing to another led to Summer and I think it was our first creative endeavor.
Together, yeah.
Together, called
our first joint
our first joint project, called
Big
Hit
Pending.
We tried to scrub Big Hit Pending from the internet, but
many times.
Neither Summer nor I know how to get into the YouTube account. However, our lovely, incredible listeners who watched it said we're actually creative geniuses. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Comedic geniuses.
Yeah.
So, which, yeah, but personally, I don't find it to be reflected in Big Hit Pending, but I guess, it stands the test of time.
The writing is there.
Yeah. And to be fair, we were 20 years old doing this. So after we rewatched Big Hit Pending, and with Summer moving to LA, we realized, and no backsies now.
No backsies.
We thought maybe it's time to do Big Hit Pending 10 years later.
Also known as Bigger
Bigger
hit
hit.
pending.
And like, guys, this is gonna be up there with Freakier Friday, Fuller House. There has to be another one.
There's another one.
Yeah, there's another one.
Bigger hit pending.
So I'm really, really excited to get on this journey and do a sequel to a show no one watched. Um, and maybe on the Patreon or another creative endeavor that Summer and I do when she moves here, we will explain the backstory of Big Hit Pending and how it came to be.
There's
And
a lot to unpack, but
there was a lot
let's
to
not
unpack.
we would be remiss if we didn't
Mhm.
mention that the original iteration of Big Hit Pending was blessed by none other than Tina Fey.
Yes, that is true. When you guys go watch Big Hit Pending streaming on YouTube, um, and wherever you get your YouTube videos, in the theme song that I wrote all by myself that actually came to me in a dream. Like, that's not a joke, you guys. I said I got the theme song, it came to me in a dream. They're gonna listen to it and be like, come on.
They're like,
Um,
okay. If you DM us or if you tag us in a video of you singing the Big Hit Pending theme song, you will be entered to win some kind of merch to be determined.
Yeah, no, please do it.
Just do
Also, if
it. We
anybody
don't, we
wants
don't
to
want.
remix the Big Hit Pending theme song for the sequel, please do it. Anyway, so at the end of the theme song, there is a voice that says "Big Hit Pending," and that is Tina Fey. Does Tina Fey know that she's a part of this? Absolutely not.
No.
Does she know we used her likeness? Absolutely not. One of Summer's friends described Big Hit Pending as a 30 Rock prequel ripoff, if that entices anybody to watch. But you know us in our current incredible form, so maybe you will enjoy the work we did. Imagine Big Hit Pending takes off 10 years later.
That's what I'm saying is like I not even joking, how hilarious would it be if all of the time I spent saying Big Hit Pending is going to put us on the map, it actually does, but just not for 10 years.
Well,
And
I
I
feel
want
like
to
I
point
said that
out
back in the day.
super fans that it is like a little not difficult, but there's more of a challenge when you are rebooting a show that no one watched. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you go ahead and watch the first 6 episodes, the first season, the first and only season of Big Hit Pending, that would be great. We are open and amenable to feedback, and if you want
Mm-hmm.
to weigh in as to where you think these characters might be 10 years down the line, please let us know. We already have season 2 mapped out, so
Yeah.
don't think that we're just um what's the word? Like poaching you for
No, we
inspiration.
know where they are. And to be honest, nothing to this day has come easier to us creatively than Big Hit Pending.
And I couldn't tell you why.
Couldn't tell you why. Summer and I wrote this over Christmas break. I think it was what, sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
Literally within a day.
Yeah.
Like it was like, why do you write like you're running out of time? Write day and night like you're running out of time. That's literally what it was. And then when we got the idea, when the Discord was popping off and everybody was saying how incredible and funny, never been done before, like creative geniuses we were on the phone and we were like, oh my god, like we have to do Bigger Hit Pending, and immediately knew where the characters Persephone and Charlie were gonna be.
And even before you watch, try to take a guess at who's who. Are we who's Persephone and who's Charlie?
God, what
Everybody's like
a
clocked.
time. What a time to be alive. Big Hit Pending. What?
And, you know, Jennifer Harrison, star of Angel Wings, actually makes an appearance in
Hmm.
episode 1.
Yeah, that's how we got our SAG cards. Isn't
Oh,
that
right.
crazy that there's some people in this cast who never spoke to us again after this experience, but got their SAG cards from us? They
You're so,
grinned and bared it. They said, I'm getting eligible after this, so I'm just gonna be nice.
it's a fickle business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the tale of Zachy Adler. I hope he's
I
well.
can't get into that. I
Yeah.
do want to look him up though.
I check up on him every few years. I haven't in a while. I think he's like a doctor now or something.
Whatever, lame ass.
Yeah. Did we ever film with
Why?
him or no? We did.
No.
We no, we did. We did at your grandparents' house. That's why we had to reshoot the dinner party scene with
Oh,
Will.
yes.
Sorry, Will Graziano. It doesn't make sense to just have his first name. That's a first and second name kind of
Yeah.
person.
Wait, yes, because he thought he was Blaze.
Yes.
No, he literally started saying Blaze lines.
Yeah. And then
Was
I told him
Sean
acting's
Delaney
not for you.
was Sean Delaney there?
I don't think so. I don't think we had him yet.
Oh, maybe that's why he thought he was Blaze.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't remember that. I just remember Sophie was there. Like somehow I got her to come to Staten Island to film. Betty even went to Staten Island to do our
Yeah.
makeup. Like we really got people like it like we I remember
You know
so
what?
meeting up with good yeah. Wait, who's
Yeah.
that guy Jesse? What was his name who was kind of obsessed with me?
That could be anybody.
Yeah, but no, but there was that day and we couldn't like all of our friends dropped out and he was like I can't help and you're like okay like Christine I will find somebody else and he goes wait what time where you were like I thought you were in New Jersey
I'll be there.
and he never showed up. Why did we
No, but
even
he
know
also
him?
had adult braces, so.
I don't like so I remember that but I can't recall whenever we would have interacted previously or any conversation that we had.
Right. I don't know how we
Like I
knew
don't
him.
know why I knew him. I knew him through you, and I don't know why or when. Like
I
2015 to 26, no 20 yeah 2015 2016 are kind of a blur to me,
Yeah.
all except for Big Hit Pending and like
Yeah.
Justin Bieber arc. But other than that, everything's a blur.
Sorry, I have to get my chapstick. Oh, there it is. Um anyway,
Anyway, should we get into our moments of desperation now that we've made our big announcements? Is there any other announcements we need to make?
I think the only thing is just guys, you know, go stream Big Hit Pending wherever you get your YouTube videos.
And
And
comment really nice things. Send it to your friends.
yes, comment only nice things.
Yes. I think that the
Please.
production value should be very endearing to you, knowing we were 20-year-old full-time students with really no director. We
No.
didn't have a director.
If you look at the credits, no one is listed as the director.
No, we didn't
Actually,
direct it.
my mom directed part of the last episode.
She did. And then, guys, um, Big It Pending actually did in fact change my trajectory of my life because I realized it was actually in my cards to be a producer slash studio executive and not an actor.
Wait,
Because,
that did that?
yeah, because I remember I was like loving running the whole show and then I didn't really care when I didn't want to be doing my scenes. I wanted to just be like behind the camera telling people what to do and something had changed within me.
Listen, you do have
Something
the skill
was
set
not the
for it,
same.
so
I know.
it's in your blood.
It
But I
is.
am excited to see you reprise your role as is she Persephone or Charlie?
I am gonna have to come out of retirement. And you know what? Because I'm now not doing this with like the desperation of like being an actor, this may pop off. Because I'm
Yeah.
just gonna do it for fun. When I'm at the Emmys, like, oh my god, no, acting is like my side hustle. Like, I'm a TV exec.
I am just like seeing this play out in my mind, you know, being at the Emmys and
Yeah.
them asking us on the red carpet, like, how did this start? And you and I just, you know, exchanging a glance and laughing. And we can't get into that right now, Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Be like, oh, it's a long story. Like, they're gonna have to make a documentary about Big Hit Pending.
Yeah.
Big hit pending. The documentary.
No, there's a clever title in there. We'll find it.
There is. But right now it's big hit pending, still pending. So that was also a great name. I
I
remember when we
know.
came up with it.
I have no memory of that.
I remember I think it was the night we were trying to figure out SAG,
Yeah.
and we were just like laughing, giggling. And I think it was me. I just went, big hit, big hit pending. And that was it.
Yeah.
So I
It's a
named big hit pending, and you named we're going to tell pod.
it's a good name. We're good
It
at
is.
names, if nothing else.
Well, not really. I think it came as a vision, almost like a prophecy.
Listeners, how many times do you think in this episode she's going to make a reference to specifically Elphaba songs?
Those are the only ones I know.
That's true.
Except I know there are bridges you crossed you didn't know you crossed until you crossed. What was your moment of desperation since we last spoke?
Yes, so for those of you in the Discord, all five of you, I mentioned how my moment of desperation this week is a little bit TMI, but like I have to discuss, it has to be done. So I had friend of the pod, Callie, staying with me for like 2 days. And one of those days, I had a dermatologist appointment. Now, I'm going to be changing my job. I'm not going to have the same insurance. So I decided to get all of my medical stuff done. And it's just like a skin screening. So the last time I got a screening, she literally just looked at my face for like 10 minutes and then we talked about like sunscreen, basically. Um, but that was in 2019 and it was a different dermatologist because she doesn't have availability. So I just went to like the next person available and I get to the doctor's office with friend of the pod, Callie. I sound like this, but even worse because I just like woke up sick, blowing my nose and just very under the weather. And I I get led into the examination room and I don't know what you'd call her, I guess the receptionist hands me a gown and she goes, okay, everything off except for your underwear and just lay on the on the bed.
For dermatology?
Yeah, and
Well, I guess to do a mole check, maybe?
we'll see now that was my question because my
Okay.
last dermatologist just looked at like my face and my neck.
Right.
So so I played it off real cool like okay. And then I immediately turned and texted friend of the pod, Callie, and I said, I need you to come in. I'm about to have a panic attack. Please help, please help. The reason I started having a Zack attack is because I had not done my laundry. So I was not wearing anything underneath. So, no, that's normal when you don't have anything clean.
I've never done that. I've never done that.
Okay, freak. Anyway, so like I didn't have anything.
What kind of pants were you wearing?
I was just wearing them before actually. They're like ribbed flare my black pants with the ribs.
Leggings
No, they're like pants.
with no barrier?
I didn't need a barrier.
Ugh. Okay, continue.
I find it freeing. Anyway,
But you
so
couldn't just like go out and buy underwear?
with what time, Christy?
Like, oh my god, I'm on my last pair of underwear. I have to do laundry. I can't. I'm just gonna go buy a couple pairs.
I really don't notice these things until it's far too late.
Okay. Continue.
So I'm freaking out, and I'm undressed. I have the gown on, and the gown opens front ways. And Callie comes in, and I'm telling her, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I feel so stupid. There's nothing I can do, and I may have said, Callie, give me your panties. And she did
Oh,
not
thank
comply.
God.
But in my head, Chris So, Callie sat with me, which made me feel better when I had to say to the doctor, just so you know, I've got nothing on underneath. I thought you were checking my face and my neck. And so she tells me to lie back on the table. Again, the gown just like whips open. Callie is to my right. Callie has now seen 98% of
Oh
me.
no.
And the doctor is asking me about like my sunscreen routine as she is really making herself comfortable with my nether
The
regions.
doctor?
And yeah, which like okay, that's her job,
Yeah.
whatever. Um but I didn't expect her to like get so in depth. Like I still had my socks on, so she like ripped my socks off and is like checking underneath my foot, I guess for some sign of cancer or other skin detriment. And then she has me flip over onto my stomach and she checks my um ass. I don't know
My
how to say
ass.
that. And she, let's just say she was very thorough. But do you know how difficult it is to answer a question when someone is spreading your cheeks to check for cancer?
I just can't believe Callie was in the room for this.
Yeah. And then when we were done, I thanked Callie for staying with me.
To be honest, she's like
And she
she's a good person for something like that.
no,
She's good
exactly,
in
she
those types
really
of
is. And
situations.
she just goes, I said, I'm sorry you had to see that. And she goes, girl, I saw everything. Oh, she's a good sport.
No, like
Yeah. And then
that's funny.
just to wrap up, from there, my common cold only got far worse. I'm finally feeling better. Sorry, I still sound quite nasally, but it's been a wild week. Well, that's mine. What's your moment of desperation from this week?
Um, so once again, mine takes place at my favorite place in the world, Jack's Trivia
Jax's
Studio.
Studios. Yeah.
Um, so I went there the other night for trivia because Alexis, Jenny, and I are trying to find a new place these days. So we've just been testing out some spots. And trivia used to just be the three of us, but this time Alexis invited Dreama. Jenny invited a bunch of her friends, and then Cam was there too, so he joined us. So there was eight of us, and
Oh,
yeah, it was a big group. It was
that's
like
a
too big for
lot.
trivia. I was like, guys, it has to just be us. Um, but so we get there, and I'm running late. So I drove there because I thought it starts at 8. It's 7:51. I'm like, oh my god, I can't walk. So like I drive, I'm speeding, I'm running in. The trivia guy's not even there yet. I'm like, well, okay. He didn't start till 8:45 to preface for 8 o'clock
No.
trivia, and there was a game on, whatever. So we get there, it's packed for some reason. Jax has been popping off. It must be because I talk about it on the podcast all the time, but for some reason, every time I've been there in the last few weeks, it's been really, really busy. Um, and the last, no, yeah. So there's a sport on. Couldn't tell you what it was. And then I get to the bar, and it's just like it's just Dreama, Jenny, Alexis, Cam, all sitting in a row with that many people. You can't be at a bar. Like you can't talk to each other. It's so frustrating. Um, there's this group. You know the really big Jax's table.
Yeah.
So there's a group of three men sitting at that table. And we're like looking around. We're like, we need a table, we need a table. And we're looking at this one, and I'm like, okay, should we just ask them if we can switch? Like, there's three of them. There's going to be a huge group of us, like, whatever. So Alexis goes to tell them, she was like, hey, like, if you guys want to watch the game, like, go to the bar where I work at. Like, I'll call them. I'll give them free shots. And then the trivia guy got mad and was like, why are you trying to take away my business? And she was like, I'm not. Like, it's fine. Sorry. So then I look at him and I was like, the guy, the trivia guy, and I was like, do you think they'll give us their table? Like, there's so many of us coming. And he goes, maybe if you use that little pouty face you just gave me. And I go, that's just, this is just my default look. Sorry. Anyway, so then I walk over to these men and I go, I'm like, hi guys. So I don't know if you're here for trivia. I started off so nice. I was like, I don't know if you're here for trivia, but there's a really big group of us coming, and I know there's only 3 of you. Like, is there any way, like, maybe you could give us this table, and if you guys wouldn't mind, like, sitting at the bar, like, there's a smaller table over there. We'd really, really appreciate it because we have a big group. And they don't move. They just look at me, and I go, please. And then the big one goes, you can come sit with us, and you can come join us. And I go, so I'm not going to be doing that. But again, you don't have to leave, but you can really enjoy Jax's Studio City from sitting over at the bar. And then they started getting snarky, and they're like, why can't we just share the table? Why can't you just come on over here? I said, well, we're going to be doing trivia, and newsflash, we're all very smart, so I don't want you cheating off of us. So I'd appreciate it if you just gave us the table. And then they just started getting like weird to me. So I started getting mean. And they go, it's his birthday, the little one who's sitting in the middle. And I was like, okay, happy birthday. That's great. You can still celebrate your birthday away from this table. And you're going to give this to us. I was like, you're going to let these 5 beautiful women just stand over there while you hog this big table, the 3 of you? I was like, you're taking up this whole space. You're so spread out. I started going off on them. And then the birthday guy goes, it's fine. I don't need to be here for my birthday. And I go, great, you can go over there. I don't feel bad for you. I said, we've all celebrated a birthday at Jax's. Get out. Get up.
This is so sitcom
So then they all
coded.
stand up. They're moseying around. And I'm like, come on, guys. I got our table. And then the bone-chilling, skinny one in gray sweatpants looks at me and goes, you've been glaring at us all night. I hope you're happy. And I go, this is just my face. Sorry. Which was true. I barely was looking at them. I just probably was like I just have a natural glare. Sorry. But yeah, so then we got the table, and they ended up staying for trivia, and they decided not to go sit at the bar. They decided not to sit at the small table that was open. They decided to stand, and they named their group We Don't Have a Table. That was their team name.
You're joking.
No, it was like Standing Kings because we don't have a table, which was kind of funny.
That's
Yeah, it was really
ridiculous.
stupid.
No, it's funny, but like it's
Yeah,
petty.
they were really petty. But I'm like, what happened to chivalry? Like, why are you,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
3 men, not gonna just immediately stand for a beautiful little girl who asked for your table?
Yeah.
Like, I was so nice in the beginning too, and then I was like, you don't want to you messed with the wrong Jax's patron. But literally, I was about to
Yeah.
go back and go, you see that name that's lit up? That's not mine, but it should be. Like, just get up. Come on. It was so crazy. I hope they're listening. Skinny, big, and sweatpant. No, sweatpant and skinny were the same one. I don't know. I was just riffing and calling them names all night. I was like 2.5 men over there.
One singular pant.
Yeah, I hated those guys. When he was young, a wealthy businessman killed his wife because of drinking and gambling. Feeling guilty, he was reborn in 1998.
What?
It sounds like a good one.
He was reborn because he felt guilty?
Yeah, I want to read that one. But anyway, so then we did trivia. We did not win. We came in like 4th place. But
How did they
they
do?
did a little bit better than us. But it's not anything about intelligence because I can guarantee you I'm definitely smarter and better than them. I think it's just random knowledge that we don't know because we're young and cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, I couldn't identify a couple athletes.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah, there it is.
exactly. But it was a fun
Well,
time.
good riddance to
Yeah,
them.
they're never gonna step foot in Jax's Studio City ever again if I have anything to say.
Absolute.
Yeah. And then Alexis felt bad and bought them shots. I was like, why are you buying them shots? They should have gotten up immediately. Like I bet they wouldn't stand for a pregnant woman on the subway.
They absolutely
Yeah.
would not.
Whatever. Welcome to your tape.
Well, I think we had some really quality moments of
I think
desperation
we
this
did. I think
week.
this was a great because I'm not usually it's like, ah, I'm gonna go to work. Ah, I'm gonna go to Pilates. So it was good.
Well, I think that's our cue at 34 minutes on the dot
Yeah.
to get into the episode.
Yeah. So the episode is called Gossip, season 3, episode 20, and the Sondheim song is from Company, which is a show I don't know, but I know a lot of the music for some reason.
So,
Kick us off.
Gabby gets injured, and we learn all of the ways that she did not get injured on the night that it happened, but then the thing that did happen was indirectly caused by Edie. So, Gabby, to set the scene for you, is sitting with Lynette at the pizzeria for her little engagement party, and they're shooting the breeze. It's all good. But things take a turn very quickly.
Edie tells Gabby, she goes, so you and Victor are getting married? And Gabby's like, yeah, this is my engagement party. And she goes, so you're like in love? And she goes, yeah. And she goes, okay, thank God. I've been seeing Carlos. And Gabby
And
breaks her glass.
with her bare hand.
Mm-hmm. And then she just keeps like, oh my
then
God, I can't believe what happened.
then I thought we had a really cool series of shots, these
Mm-hmm.
extreme close-ups on women's mouths as they gossip, and Mary Alice is talking about just the way that gossip travels in Fairview and on the lane specifically. And then our heroes, the ladies minus Bree, of course, are gossiping about McCluskey and the recent scandal of her husband in the freezer.
And everybody thinks that she killed her husband. That's the gossip going around. I love it when the name of the episode really like directly like this was going on a lot in the beginning of the show, like when it was guilty and things like that. When it's
Yeah,
like a direct like that's the theme here is gossip. Yeah.
definitely. And I laughed out loud when Gabby called the husband a corpsicle.
Wait, I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
And then Gabby goes to talk to Edie and she's like, everybody hates you, Edie. I hope you know that. And that's when Edie iconically goes, I'm tall. No, you're shorter than my legs or something like that. You're as tall as my legs.
Yeah, that's a great
Mm-hmm.
line. And then Gabby threatens her and she's like, stop seeing Carlos and stop taking everybody else's men or face the consequences. And Edie is not entirely phased by
Yeah,
this.
she doesn't care. She's like, I'll do what I want. And then Susan's at home and Edie or Ian is showing up with flowers and she's like, "Ugh, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. So she doesn't answer. She goes on a rant to Julie about how she does not a prize to be won. She hates the poker game, blah, 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 blah.
This was the first time in a while that we've seen
Yeah, why does
Julie.
she look 10 years older? I was like,
Right.
Parker too. I was like, was there just like a big break in between? Because I
Yes.
feel like all the kids look a lot older in this episode. Um,
Yeah, Parker seems significantly like more
yeah.
mature than he did.
Um, and then Mike shows up and he's like taunting Ian, being like,
That
you
was the
better
word
give it
I
up,
used.
brother. You better give it up. She doesn't want to talk to you. Ha ha. And then they're about to get into a physical altercation until Julie pops in.
I will say that like Ian's outfit in this scene, like he looked really
Mm-hmm.
good. And there's something very like, I guess, attractive about him holding the bouquet of
For sure.
roses. But he was just still pissing me
Yeah.
off. And then when Julie comes out, she's like trying to be so sweet and diplomatic and like, my mom would really appreciate it if you guys left. And Susan's like, no, give it to them harder.
I feel like this is so opposite of my mom and I. Like, if I was in a
Yeah.
situation with my mom, I'd be like, you guys better get off my property or I'm calling the police. And then my mom would be like, stop, be nice, be nice. And I'd be like, no, you should
Yeah.
actually like slit your throats and leave my mom alone.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the next scene with Rick and Lynette, did you clock what he's making her?
No, what?
Duck confit.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
He makes her a duck confit in a some type of in a cream glaze. I went, oh,
I
duck
can't believe
confit.
Rick is the new
He
Brie.
is, and I can't believe duck confit is like canon in Desperate Housewives universe.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, it is a real dish.
I know, but it's just been like I think it's crazy, and I know this is not a subconscious thing because I barely remember the Rick storyline. When we make up storylines as a joke, and then they appear in Desperate Housewives, like with Danielle brushing her hair. So
Yes.
it's like, whoa.
I wonder how she's doing.
We won't know for a while. She's just growing a child in Switzerland or something. She's pregnant.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she's at her dinner date with Rick, her hair's down, looking stunning gorgeous. And then Tom calls and he goes, hey, just wanted to ask you like when you're gonna come back. Love you so much.
It's crazy how we're like actively cheering. Well, I'm at least actively cheering for Lynette to like cheat on her husband.
Because it's like I support a woman who cheat. Like a cheating, there's a double standard. There's a double standard. If I've said this a million, I've been saying this since 2018. If a woman cheats, there's a problem in the relationship, and if a man cheats, they're scum. 100% of the time.
Now, what about in homosexual
I'm
relationships?
only speaking on the heteronormative relationships. This is a straight
Okay.
podcast.
So Tom is basically saying like, "Oh, the kids are waiting up for you to come home. They miss you." And he's trying to guilt her.
What really, okay, just in general, what really annoyed me with Lynette's storyline here is if the roles had been reversed and Tom's working late, nobody's going to question Tom working late. Kayla's not going to be like, where's daddy? It's like, no, daddy's just working late. But if the mother, who has been supporting the whole family because her husband decided to get injured during his restaurant that was his dream, it's her fault somehow.
Everything is Lynette's
Yeah.
fault
No, it really
somehow.
made me mad. I was like, they would simply never be questioning Tom being working late at the restaurant.
And then once Tom gets off the phone with Lynette, Parker goes outside. He's feeling bad for Mrs. McCluskey. Tom is out there with him. And it's just sad because like she's cleaning off her door because
Yeah.
her house got egged. Like it did hit me in the
I know, I hate
heartstrings.
seeing her sad.
She's just an old gal.
Yeah. And then Gabby is talking to Susan and Lynette and telling her that they no longer talk to Edie. And they're like, Gabby, like, we don't feel comfortable with that. And she goes, I don't go to the Brazilian place that did this. I don't go there. She's like, I ride for you guys. We're not talking to Edie. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, it's so immature.
Yeah.
And Susan even calls it out and being like, "Well, we're not in junior high."
And also,
But then
she also said she was like, she goes, well, she slept with Mike and Carl. And Susan goes, yeah, and that's a Mike and Carl problem, not an Edie problem. I was like, period, Susan.
yes, I actually wrote Susan goes off and
Yes.
she has a point because she's basically saying, "Why are we always coming after the women for
Hmm.
things that the men are also guilty of
Yeah,
doing?"
exactly. And it's like, it would be one thing if Gabby was also like, I also hate Carlos. We're not talking to Carlos, but she wasn't doing that. She was fine with Carlos. She's not with Edie. So it's like,
Right.
well, Gabby, stop being a pick me. But then she actually wasn't because she was like, no, I'm a girl's girl. If you tell me to boycott something, I boycott it.
I know.
So
It's
I
like
actually like I agreed with her, but I also don't at the same time in this scene.
because she's cherry
Yeah,
picking.
exactly. It's like it's
Like you can't be a girl's girl when it's convenient for you.
yeah, exactly. Um, and then
You want me to do
yeah,
it? So Lynette comes home and Kayla's there. She's like doing her little puzzle, the little menace. I hate her so much. And she is baiting Lynette and she's like, "Oh, like daddy's doing everything lately. Wow, blah blah blah." And then Lynette says something like offhanded and she does her little lying laugh that she does when she's lying and Kayla points it out and she's like, "By the way, you always do that little laugh when you're lying."
she was just cracking me up. She goes, "You always do that laugh." That one. She's like just
I mean, it does sound very unnatural, and obviously that's
yeah.
why Felicity Huffman chose to do it that way. But it's very like,
But she reminded me of, you know, that video of Justin Bieber going with Maria Menounos? And he just goes, I like that laugh.
yeah.
But she's just so, like, she's just sitting up. She goes, why have you been working home late? Daddy's doing everything.
She is like, there are too many sociopathic children on
Yeah.
Wisteria Lane.
They're really starting to, like, primp her to be evil.
Yeah.
Uh,
I almost forgot that she existed because she wasn't being a problem
yeah.
child.
Yeah, she had some downtime to grieve, I guess.
Then we have Susan trying to get a parking space, and some guy like swoops in and steals her spot from her, and she attacks him
No,
physically.
I was obsessed with this because she's like, "Hey, like you took my spot." He goes, "Watch your hormones." And then after he says that, she literally beats him up. And I was like,
Yeah, she has his head in the
"Yes."
window. Like, it's so funny that she's just crashing out over this parking space, but this is the straw that breaks the camel's back for
I
her.
just loved the like physical comedy in the scene and like his head like she she
Yeah.
gets into his car to move it and then he puts his head through the window and she rolls the window up so he's like cutting his head off and then the police are like is he trying to steal the car and he goes this is my car and they go are you serious is that true and she goes I'll believe him yeah
She's attempting to decapitate a man over a parking
this reminded
space.
me of that scene in Scream Queens when they're in the lunch area and they start beating that guy up.
I haven't seen that show in
No, I
so
feel like I
long.
bring this scene up all the time because like one of the guys, someone and like is with the Chanel's and he like I don't know he says something what's the word not aggressive but like come on the cat calls one of them and they
Oh,
go
yeah.
ah, you can't just talk to my friend that way and then they all three of them start beating him up
Oh,
with like the
yes,
80s music
yes.
in the background. It's my
Yeah,
favorite scene of any TV show. It's so funny. Other than, of course, the scene in Trade of Hearts at the
of
tombstone.
course.
But other than that, it really kills me because it's just like with this cheery music behind it. When they're like, "Don't
Yeah.
tell me to smile, you smile." Like it's so good.
Counterpoint sound.
Yeah, sure.
Then we have Edie spying on Lynette because she thinks Lynette is like screening her calls. And so Edie calls Lynette from the window, and we see Lynette check her phone and immediately put it on silent. And I just love the phrase like screening my
Mm-hmm.
calls because it's so aggressively early
I
2000s.
screen my
And
phone calls.
now we have to add that to We're Going to
What is
Sing
that
podcast.
called?
Wait,
What is it
playlist.
called? I screen all my phone calls. I screen my phone calls. What is that song? I know.
Sorry, it's 11 o'clock
What
at
is
night.
the
I don't
freaking
know.
song? I used to do it on Guitar Hero all the time. Obviously, I would do the vocals.
Yeah.
It's Gwen Stefani, no doubt. I screen my phone calls. No doubt. No doubt. I screen my phone calls. Spider webs by No Doubt.
Spider webs.
Ask no matter who calls. I have to do that at karaoke. I screen all my phone calls.
Cool. So then, so Edie knows that this is Gabby's doing. And so she like storms outside and she's like, "Hey, Lynette, Travers's birthday party is coming up. I need you to cater it."
I'm calling you back. Sorry. Leave a message
If
and
you're
I'll
gonna do
call you
that,
back. Okay, anyway.
at least add it to "We're Going to
I
Sing"
will, I
playlist.
promise. Okay, anyway, so we're at Traver's birthday. Or rather, the phone
Well,
call.
she tells,
Right.
yeah, she tells Lynette about the party. And Lynette obviously can't turn that down because she needs the
Mm-hmm.
money.
Yeah, and she's like, if you do one birthday party, then the next kid's gonna want to visit the birthday party, and so on and so forth. So she's like, okay. And then Susan's at therapy, and she's like, no, like I just had a bad day. And the therapist is like, is your family life okay? She goes, yeah. She goes, how's work? She goes, it's fine. Never seen Susan work. And then she goes, how's your love life? And she immediately starts like sobbing, crying.
She breaks
Yeah.
down so fast.
And then Parker goes and he's like, McCluskey, he's like, can you please babysit us again? I hate our new babysitter. She sucks. And then he's like, just tell the truth. This will all be over.
And then we're right back to Susan's therapy session where she's like spilling the tea about what happened with Mike and Ian. And she is like, how could they do that? That's such an awful thing to do. And then the therapist says exactly what you and I said last
Mm-hmm.
week, where she's like, well, it depends on how you look at it. Men have been waging wars over women for years. And then the therapist is inquiring about Susan's love for Ian and Susan's love for Mike. And Susan does say that she still loves Mike and that she's just like hopelessly in love with two men at the same time. And I'm just kind of like, what does Ian have besides a boatload of money that Mike does
That's
not?
what I can't figure out. And it's like, you only met Ian because Mike was in a coma. Also, like, it's not like it's not like they were doing the poker game and she had no say in it. It's not like these were two. I think it would be different if it's like she wasn't dating either of them and it was like two guys being like, oh, I want to hit that, I want that girl, and then they like make a bet over it and then whoever wins gets to ask her
Yeah.
out. That's really icky. But if she clearly has feelings for both of them and one they just want the other to back off, I'm like, they just are obsessed with you. Like, you should be really happy that these two, the
Like,
only two good men in Fairview, are obsessed with you.
yeah, like at least they're both guys that she wants. I
Yes.
mean, come on.
Like, be a little grateful. There's not many out there.
Yes.
Um,
And supposedly there are thousands of men in Fairview, but
I don't know about that because they all seem to live on one street. I
yeah,
still don't understand why Ian has a mega mansion in a random suburban town in America. That doesn't click
in the
with
Eagle
me, and
State.
it doesn't. I don't understand.
Right.
Um, Anyway, so then Rick invites Lynette to some like southern tasting dinner, and at first she's like, no, I have to get home. And then she goes, oh, it's part of the job description. I guess I have to check out the competition. Love you.
And then we get to Travers's birthday party, which is a really big, meaty scene, but it's a good one. My first note just says this party looks fun as hell.
Okay, this is what like LA kid birthday parties look like, and like the celebrity kids, and it's just like my
Yeah.
hope and dream. I want one of those parties for myself. Like for my 30th
Yeah, let's
birthday,
work on
for my
it.
30th birthday, if I'm not on a trip, I need to make a friend with like a mansion here, and I want like a child's birthday in their backyard for my
Yes,
birthday
yes.
because I feel like I've missed out on a lot. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, let's make it
Yeah.
happen.
So if you have a man, if you're a listener and you have a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, and you're willing to pay for my birthday party. It could be Barbie, Princess Wicked themed. Like, let's go. But I want that.
And guess who else is at this party besides caterer Lynette?
Susan
Susan.
doing a book reading, I guess. And Susan makes a joke. She goes, "Guess we're working the same circuit or something." And Lynette's like, "Oh my god, like don't worry, I checked. Like, Gabby's gonna be out all day, like doing press with Victor, so we're fine."
And then Susan turns and she sees Mike coming out of his house, like taking out his garbage or checking the garage or something. And she's just all wistful.
Yeah. And then the kids, there are a bunch of evil little kids who paint witch on McCluskey's door. I thought they were about to write whore.
Witch! Witch!
Why did they start doing that? Witch.
I don't know, but it was so funny. Oh, because you could do like the thing with your voice,
Oh,
right?
yeah. The
Witch!
yeah. And Parker's like, "Hey, stop! Don't do that. She's not a witch. That's my babysitter." And the kids go, "Oh, is that your little girlfriend? Oh, you Parker's in love. Parker's in love."
That's no witch. That's my wife.
Airplane food, am I right?
Yeah. And then the kids run away, and McCluskey is like, "Oh, Parker, I'm so sorry." And he gets all upset and he says, "You should just tell everybody what you told me, and then it would be
Yeah,
okay."
he's like, "This is affecting all of us now. Just do it." And then Gabby gets home early and she's calling Lynette and Susan. They're not answering. They see her. They run in. This was such a good scene, which I have no recollection of at all. I felt like I was watching this for the first time in my life. So they see her and they like tuck and roll and then hide in the reptile truck because there's like snakes and stuff at this party. And then they see like a tarantula, so they run out, and then Gabby catches them. But the way that it's shot and everything was just so perfect because you just see Gabby like staking out the party.
Yes. And then Gabby starts having a Zack attack and making a scene, and Carlos just, no hesitation, goes and picks her up and escorts her out of the party. And he's like, "Hey, what is wrong with you?" And then they start talking about, who's in love and who's not. And it's very apparent that Carlos is like, "I'm having fun with Edie, but it's never going to be anything serious." Which is also like a little sad because Edie, is into him.
I don't think Edie. I feel like they're kind of on the same page.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
like it's fine.
But like, then I feel like she wouldn't be so like excited to tell Gabby like, "Oh, I'm seeing Carlos."
I feel like Edie kind of uses it as like, I'm seeing Carlos. I think she does simply do that because whatever. But yeah, and then Gabby lets it go because she realizes Carlos is still in love with her. So she's like, "Oh, I still have control over the situation, so he can do whatever he wants." Love her.
Then McCluskey shows up at the party and it's awkward. Everybody's just kind of staring her down. You know what it was kind of giving?
What?
Elphaba arriving at Shiz.
Whoa, you're right. I do see that. I can't believe McCluskey's Alphabet of the Week. Witch!
Witch. That's
So if you
spooky.
care to find me, look to the McCluskey sky.
And she explains herself. Listen, this was kind of like not the tea that it was made out to be.
So what happens is she says she got home. She found, what was his name? Hank or Howard or something?
Gilbert.
Dead in. She was like, "I get home. He is dead with the remote still in his hand." And then she just goes to his paperwork and sees she's not on his pension, which I guess is like a retirement fund or something. And the ex-wife of 2 years, because she was like, that idiot never switched it over. So she's like, I did what I had to do. I didn't want to like lose my income. Okay, so this just goes along my point as girls don't rely on a man for money because they're stupid and could do something like this when they croak. Like, do not marry rich because then you'll end up like Mrs. McCluskey with a man with a corpse in your freezer collecting checks. Not good. If you want to be
Okay,
free,
thanks,
you've
Christy.
gotta get a job and work.
And marry a man with no money.
No, 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 no. Still marry a man with money. You want to double the income, but don't not work. Just saying. It never works out. Just trying to help the girls.
This next scene gets me so riled up, I can barely talk about it. But Susan goes to see Mike, and they just have fireworks between them all the
Mm-hmm.
time. And Susan's an idiot because she sits down with him and she's like, I have to talk to you. And then she says she's going to marry Ian. And Mike is just crushed.
He goes, at least I still have my memories. No, at least I have my memories. And that hurt, that broke me. However, I think as much as like I'm over Ian, I think I would have loved to see a speak now wedding crash scene. Like if we're
Yeah,
gonna get
yeah,
Ian this long, like do
yeah,
you remember? Did you ever watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
of
You know the
course.
series finale.
I mean, it's been a long
You
time.
have to. It's like like it gives me chills every time I think about it. She's marrying some fiance, and Harvey crashes the wedding, and then she has
Yes.
like this whole thing that like something from like the other realm that she and Harvey are like soulmates or something. And he crashes the wedding, and
Oh,
the last shot is like her in her wedding dress, like on his motorcycle, and they just go off into the sunset. It's actually like it's bone chilling, and I think it's an incredible series finale. That's what I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see something really crazy like that happen.
yeah, yeah. I mean, knowing Susan, like, it could have easily been
Yeah.
that.
Do
But
we get no
in
wedding
any case,
crasher? No, wait, I'm so stupid. That's basically what happens with Victor, Gabby, Carlos.
oh,
So I guess we can't have
yeah.
that 2 times. I mean, kind of. Whatever.
It's weird that this happened twice. Um, then Lynette is getting ready to go out with Rick. She's all excited because that's her boyfriend.
No, like she's spritzing perfume. Like she has her hair down. She's like checking. She's doing her like lymphatic drainage. He's like being
Yeah.
cuffed all day. She's like getting pheromone perfume. Like she's like, I can't wait to go on a date with my boyfriend Rick while my husband Tom's at home with the kids.
And then, of course, guess who shows up? Tom and the
He
kids.
like hobbles. This is when I started to feel bad for him because he's like hobbling in. He's like, hi, Lynette. I thought it would be okay if we had family dinner. And she goes, how did you get here? You're not supposed to drive. And he goes, oh, I took a cab. Oh, gotta sit down. Kay-
I can't.
Kayla insisted we come here for dinner.
Yeah,
Boiling like
Kayla's a
day
little bitch.
8 because she knew. She knew, but like Kayla's evil, but also it's like she's protecting because if you think about it, Lynette's not her mom. So she sees something fishy going on and she goes, I'm protecting my dad.
Yeah, I get that, but still.
Yeah, like whatever. Um, and then
Yeah, like, whatever.
and then Kayla is spying and she overhears Rick and Lynette being like, oh, I can't go out with you tonight. It'll have to be another night. But go on without me, my man, or something.
It just sucks. Like, Lynette, I think she deserved this night out.
Yeah, like she could have a little moment. Um,
And then, of course, Kayla goes and tells Tom that Lynette likes Rick.
yeah. Um, Also, what I didn't like here is Tom's like, oh yeah, Lynette's like cleaning up the restaurant still. Lynette had to stay even later to clean up the restaurant because her family decided to come and eat there for free. So she
Yes.
had to do extra labor at her restaurant.
You know what? Not for nothing, but it's called Scavo's Pizzeria. We should start calling it
Lynette and Briggs.
her well, yeah, but her maiden name is like Lundquist, right?
Crazy you remember that, but yes, Lindquist, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should start calling it Lindquists and take Tom's name off of it.
Yeah. Free Scavo's pizza. Free Lynette.
Lindquist Pizza.
Ooh, sounds delicious. Um, and then we're back to Susan and Ian. They're making out in her house, and she goes, "Oh, I can't wait to marry you. I can't wait for you to be Susan Hainsworth, or you can keep your name if you really want to." Which, period.
Yeah.
And then he goes upstairs, and Susan has a missed call from Mike. And it's not really anything. He's just like, "Hey, like, I hope you're happy in the
In the
end."
end.
And she just listens to it with like a wistful look again, and then she replays the message. And Ian's just watching all of this, and then he just is defeated.
Finally, it took him
Yeah,
long enough.
jeez, cockroach.
And Ian tells Susan he's leaving, going back to London, and explains that he just saw her replaying the message from Mike, and like he now understands
Mhm.
his place in the world.
Thank God. I thought this was a sweet exit for him. I think, again, I would have loved something a little bit more dramatic, but I like that he got to bow out a hero. It's literally like die a hero, live long enough to be a villain.
Yeah, I
So
guess.
he was like, you're doing this because you made a promise, but you literally don't want to be with me. You're gonna be thinking about Mike Delfino the whole time. And she would be. So
Yeah,
that's fair.
so would I.
Yeah, me too. Mike Delfino. No spoilers.
Okay, so then Lynette goes over to McCluskey's and asks her to come back to babysit.
Yay. Then Tom says he wants to go back to work, even though it's been 6 weeks and he's supposed to be out for months. And he goes, "We can fire Rick." And Lynette freaks out. She goes, "No, we can't.
Yeah.
I love him. Please." Scream,
Please, that's my boyfriend.
screaming from the "Daddy, I love him." Wait, why
Yeah.
don't I know how that song goes? Floor through the fences. No, I ain't coming to my senses. I'm having his baby. No, I'm not, but you should see your faces. Oh, that's her with Rick.
Yes.
No, I'm not coming to my senses.
And then, of course, the most dramatic part of all of this is that Ida Greenberg goes to Susan and says, "Did you see Mike moved?"
My
and
Delfino moved out of the neighborhood. I'm so
and Susan is
sad.
like and Susan is like, "That's not possible." And Ida goes, "He stole away in the middle of the night, packed up his truck and left."
He didn't even say goodbye. Mike Delfino. Mike Wazowski. Mike
Mike Wazowski
Delfino.
Delfino.
No, it made me sad. And she's like, no. And that's it.
That's it. That's the end of the
Yeah.
episode.
All right, guys. Like we said, join the Discord. Should we just link Big Hit Pending?
Yeah, we will, I guess.
I believe the day finally came. Also,
Guys, please leave a comment on this video from 10 years
yeah,
ago.
also, if you don't watch the YouTube and you're not on any of our socials for some reason, we're so much prettier now than we are in Big Hit Pending.
Yeah, just keep that in mind, please.
Yeah, when you're watching it. We look a lot better now, just so you know. And until next time, this has been We Know What You're Doing, so good night.
And y'all come back now, you hear?
Snow melts, but love sticks around.